Hello to everybody. My name is Jackson Key. I'm a third-year architecture major and the University of Virginia's team leader for this year's USITT ASTC Venue Renovation Challenge. I'm joined by Oliver Church, Caitlin Kreinheder, and Catherine Henebery, who are also third-year architecture majors, as well as Tim Victorio, who is a second-year Master's in Architecture candidate. While we are all architecture students, we have ranging backgrounds in theater, including lighting design and technology, scenic design and technical production, and dance. Our faculty advisor is Stephen Warner, an assistant professor in the Department of Drama and head of the MFA Technical Production program. Our ASTC mentor is Kimberly Corbett Oates, who is a current partner with Schiller Shook in Dallas, Texas, and has over 15 years of experience as a theater consultant. She is a current director of USITT, previously serving as USITT Engineering Commissioner. We would like to thank USITT and the ASTC before we begin, particularly our ASTC mentor Kimberly Oates for her invaluable wisdom and guidance, introducing us to the processes and considerations of theater consulting, Van Phillips and the ASTC judges for their time and providing the opportunity to compete, particularly as we are the first team competing in the challenge from the University of Virginia, and David Grindle for his work to facilitate this event. As well, I would like to thank Stephen Warner for his support and insights as faculty advisor, as well as Damon Atwood, Lee Kennedy, Katie Stranix, and Kyle Sturgeon for their critiques as we developed our project. Our project is the McIntyre Amphitheater on the central grounds of the University of Virginia in Charlottesville, Virginia.
This site map shows McIntyre Amphitheater's location in UVA's central grounds. It's located southwest of the lawn and in close proximity to many key pedestrian routes, as well as university bus lines and vehicle traffic along McCormick Road. The historic existing structure was designed by architect Fisk Kimball and built in 1921. In the center image, you can see the neoclassical structure with two small buildings attached by a back wall forming a skene. There is existing concrete seating that's separated from the stage by a wide grass area. The structure was renovated in 2012, and that converted one of those side buildings into offices and a break room for the UVA facilities team. The existing site plan shows the McIntyre Amphitheater in relation to the 4 academic buildings that surround it. And the plans of the small existing structure show that it is primarily used for storage and for office space for UVA facilities management. The existing structure sits in a depressed bowl between those 4 surrounding academic buildings. We assessed other existing performance spaces on grounds, including the Culberth and Kaplan theaters, which are home to UVA's drama department. These spaces are used for more official performances and are usually only accessible to more established student groups. And most student performing groups are left with the Student Activities Building, which is a drab, generic multi-use space, as their only option. Furthermore, none of these performance spaces are located near central grounds. This leads us into the key challenges we identified with the site. The existing stage is very wide and shallow, and the current seating is far away from the stage, and that has created very poor sight lines for large portions of the seating. Additionally, the site access and circulation is funneled through a few stairs, and so the area is not handicap accessible. The site is used for different informal gatherings throughout the day, including lunches and activities fairs, and we decided that our proposed renovation should allow those informal functions to continue while also providing all the technical infrastructure that's currently lacking that would be required for any type of night event or full production, including positions for rigging and other equipment, backstage areas, loading docks, and stage access points. Finally, the current site is fully exposed to the elements, and the complete lack of shade can discourage people from gathering. And those challenges lead us into our mission statement: to redevelop the historic amphitheater so that it functions as a thriving public space by day and a working student performance space by night, helping fill the deficiency of performance spaces that are oriented specifically for student groups on grounds. And we approach this mission through a series of key interventions: lowering and reconstructing the stage to more usable proportions in order to provide greater connectivity to the audience and backstage areas, adding technical infrastructure, constructing frames, catwalks, and trusses to provide positions for equipment, and giving flexibility for the needs of designers at various scales of production. We expanded the backstage building to create a support space for student performance groups, including dressing rooms, scene shop, rehearsal rooms, and other spaces. And finally, we resloped and terraced the site to improve accessibility and functionality of the public space, both for formal events and informal gatherings.
The site challenges and mission statement led us into the conceptual design phase. We began with diagrams analyzing sightlines and the datums in the existing structure and plan and section. The pictures at right from a site visit give an indication of the scale of the venue. This diagramming and in varying levels of detail allowed us to really begin to consider solutions to the problems in the site. This work led us to a series of operations. First, we began with the existing site, looking at the current seating bank as well as the existing stage and structure. Next, we extended the back of the building into a support structure while pushing an apron out from the stage to build it closer towards the audience and give greater depth. Next, we narrowed the sightlines from nearly 180 degrees to 90 degrees, reducing the obstructions of the building and creating a more unified audience relationship with the stage, which reduced at the plaster line in width from 86 feet to 40 feet. The distance from the existing seats prompted the addition of closer, more intimate seating by excavating terraced platforms. That excavation provided materials to build out the unusable hill at the northeast into additional terraces. The terrain required the addition of ramps, stairs, and railings to make the site accessible from the upper areas as well as between layers. Lastly, over the new seating and stage, additional performance infrastructure is added onto the site, including a large roof containing the overstage rigging, as well as catwalks reaching out into a pergola, lifting speakers, lighting equipment, and rigging over the audience.
When considering the proposal of an outdoor theater, we decided it was necessary to analyze the movement of sun and the presence of shadows on the stage and audience. It was important to understand how the space can be used throughout the year and even within a single day. Our proposed building works with the sun path and allows for audience and stage to be shaded during daytime performances, giving a more comfortable audience experience. The proposed addition to the existing structure provides a new infrastructure essential for a performance space. Both principal and ensemble dressing rooms can host a range of performers and different scales of performances. A scene shop within this building, as well as a freight elevator, allow for the fabrication of set pieces for students using this space. The ground floor houses the prop and costume shops. These spaces can double as classrooms for a number of courses offered at the university. Ample amounts of storage were included in the plan to sustain many student-based performances, and an enclosed control booth in the front of house gives stage managers and board operators a space to call shows. The upper level provides much-needed rehearsal spaces for student performance groups. These spaces are flexible, with partition walls to allow for smaller rehearsals or open to the full size of the stage space. Lighting storage and demo rooms are included to provide practical storage and teaching spaces. The intentions with this renovation was not only to provide space for student performers, but also to the university as a whole. The addition of a rooftop terrace provides outdoor gathering space that can be used during any normal day. We imagine this space taking on many different audience sizes and occupancy numbers based on the type of show and time of day. When no performances are happening, the amphitheater becomes a public meeting space for students and faculty. Smaller scale shows fill up the lower portion of the audience seating, while larger scale shows have the space and seating count to expand to the upper rows of the amphitheater.
Clear and accessible circulation paths are essential in allowing both event spectators and everyday commuters to move easily throughout the site. In the proposed design, the strategic addition of various stairs and ramps facilitates movement between 4 distinct levels, allowing visitors to easily maneuver from the upper walkway to the lawn seating below. In creating these new circulation routes, the walkways will be expanded to make room for additional public plazas that can be used for showtime amenities such as additional seating, ticketing booths, or food stands. The proposed design of the existing seating removes roughly half of the original seating, the majority of which had obstructed views of the stage, in favor of narrowed sightlines and widened staircases. Narrowing the sightline ensures better viewing angles for the audience members, while widening the staircase allows for the addition of a railing, making the space more accessible. The proposed design of the new seating area excavates the existing inner lawn in order to provide additional seating with unobstructed views closer to the stage. The resulting terraces are large enough for small groups to gather in a social setting during the day and provide space for informal seating during small theatrical productions. This new seating area also provides a flexible space for more formal seating arrangements. By staggering the seats in 2 rows on each terrace, the seating capacity of the area is around 500. This arrangement allows for more formal productions or graduation ceremonies that require more regulated seating for larger gatherings.
The proposed infrastructure is designed to support the technical demands of large plays and musicals, dance and music groups, while remaining accessible to student designers and technicians of a range of experiences, and manage the conditions of an outdoor venue. This section shows the audience sightlines to the stage, as well as the overhead infrastructure, which, while substantial, is lifted out of sightline and while not exceeding the site scale because of the excavation. A roof allows some protection from rain and snow onto the stage, though most everything is exposed to humidity, wind, and temperature. Side lighting positions reach downstage to provide side lighting angles onto the apron. The wings in the upstage crossover are tall enough to facilitate moving even tall scenery from the shop to the stage. Horizontal sight lines show the front of house infrastructure kept where possible near the walls, allowing full view of the principal playing area. Seating excavation allowed for better engagement with the apron of the stage and a radialarization without creating a true thrust to allow for better wing access. This configuration provides the amateur performers and directors the ability to play to the audience not through a proceeding window, but without the relative complexity of a true thrust. This also helps solve structural challenges by keeping the cantilever of the overhead roof to a manageable degree. All overhead stage positions are accessible via either tension grid or catwalk. This is to give amateur technicians easier access without lifts or ladders, while also providing a degree of security by keeping the access from within the building itself, not externally. The overstage structure consists of a steel grid supporting a tension grid, both organized in 5x5 spacings, allowing for breaking points to be dropped through, underhang hardware mounted, and lighting battens easily configurable along the verticals with G-spros. At left, speakers are able to be positioned along the overhead catwalk and onto the pergola. At right, power and data systems are proposed. Dimmer, constant current power, and RJ45 jacks are scattered throughout in boxes for moisture protection and flexible access. The company switch and dimmer racks are located in the main building. Gateways provide universes where needed and feedback into the booth via network. This light plot shows an example repertory configuration. Positions are flexible to suit the needs of individual productions, designer preference, and varying equipment choices. The venue would need a repertory inventory, however, as student groups typically do not possess their own equipment.
Backstage circulation is an important factor in making a show run smoothly. The proposed backstage space situates all dressing rooms and the scene shop with direct access to the wings and stage. The entrances to these spaces are placed on a corridor that reduces the amount of light and sound bleed that can negatively affect a performance. A 7-foot wide crossover hallway allows for the quick movement of actors from the stage to dressing rooms and back in place for the next scene. Thank you for your time.